So I've got some videos coming up on the channel very soon all about how you can get started in the world of home recording. If you want to make music in your own house without needing to spend a ton of money on studio time, or you just want to be creative and set up a cool little creative space for you at home, those videos are going to help you get started with that. Now to do that, you need a good audio interface. I've had the same audio interfaces in my studio for around about 12 years now, and that is the Focusrite 18i20. The Generation 1 18i20 was my main interface from when I got it in 2012 up until about 2020. Then, the studio I was in at the time, I did a complete overhaul of, and I upgraded to the Generation 3 18i20. That has been my main interface for the last 4 years. But now it's starting to show some signs of just not being able to keep up with what I want it to do. So I thought maybe there's something out there that's a little bit more suited to my current workflow needs. And then this happened. So I got speaking to my buddies at Audient, and they sent me an interface to feature in those videos that we're going to be doing some stuff with home recording in. I thought I would open it up on camera with you today to show you what I've got. So thanks to my good friend Adam Steele, who you guys may know as Hot Pole Studios on YouTube. He actually now works for Audient, and he put me in touch with some of the guys that, were incredibly helpful in making this happen. So this isn't a sponsored video. Audient aren't paying me to make this video. In fact, Audient don't even know I'm making this particular video, but they did send me this interface for the purpose of the other videos that I'm mentioning. So I got on a phone call with the guys at Audient, and we kind of talked about my needs and what I would need from an interface and, feature set, what I needed to do and everything else. And this was the thing that they recommended. So let's crack the box open. So they actually do much smaller versions of this. The reason I've gone with a bigger one is purely down to connectivity, because I always have a lot of different things connected in my studio at the same time. So I like my workflow to be quite easy. I don't want to just be plugging things in and out all the time whenever I'm changing amps or changing whatever I'm doing. I like to be able to just plug one or two cables in and I'm ready to go. So we chose the interface with that in mind. And this is also something that is scalable. So if I need more ins and outs, I can upgrade this to a bigger setup. So we have a rack bracket. That's going to be very useful if I choose to rack mount this interface. I was actually going to buy one of these myself. I didn't actually know Audient were going to send me one of those. And then we have an incredibly well packaged product, as you can see. They've not taken any chances here. But now, the tricky thing is going to be getting this out without making too much of a mess, because I think the box of the interface is the same size as the external box. I really don't want to get these things all over my studio floor, because this is going to be a nightmare to clean up. I think I'm just going to have to submit and let that happen somewhat, as much as I really don't want it to. Oh no. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, I got some on the floor. And there's nothing else in the box. So, mess aside, we got there. Thanks Audient for covering my studio floor in foam cubes. I really appreciate that. So in this box, I have an interface from the EVO range. This is the EVO 16. So Audient's EVO range is kind of, I don't want to say entry level, but it's some of their lower priced offerings to the market. And this interface, with all its feature sets, there it is. That's a really nice box, actually. It's a very sleek, simple box, but I like that in a product. It kind of reminds me of like a tech company, like when you buy a new iPhone, it's a very kind of streamlined design. This has a ton of features built in, as you can see here from the rear. You probably can't read those on camera because it's quite small text, but this is jam-packed full of features, and this actually retails at I think these are about £380. I'll put the link to it down below so you can see the correct price at this current moment in time. But this is 8 preamps with 2 JFET instrument inputs, so that's useful when you're DIing a guitar or a bass, 2 independent headphone outputs, line outs, optical ins and outs for when you want to expand the unit. The smart gain feature, which we'll go into in my recording videos, is such a cool feature, which you press a button and it does all the gain staging for you. And everything else is kind of controlled from their PC app as well, which is great because the unit itself doesn't actually have a lot on it. Everything is done via the computer. So there's some instructions on how to use the smart gain. And here it is. Let's open it up. This is really well packaged. And there we go. There's the EVO 16 from Audient. So it's actually slightly smaller than the 18i20 because the 18i20s actually have the rack mounts built in, so they are full rack width. This is actually a little bit narrower than full rack width, but then the rack ears that they've provided me will make up that difference. So if I am plugging this into my rack, then obviously I can do that. I'm undecided because I quite like that this is quite sleek, so I might actually just leave this on my desktop underneath my monitors. The cool thing with this interface is it kind of works like a channel strip in the way that it's set up. The 18i20 has a volume control for every channel on the front of it. This one, you have to select your channel by pressing one of those buttons, one of the 8, and then this control knob here controls the parameters that you're adjusting. We've got a screen here that shows us a couple of different things. 48 volt phantom power. There's a instrument button there, so obviously when we're using the JFETs, we can enable that. Got a talkback mic button there. Speakers, because I think we've got 2 different speaker selections. I'm not sure what the F button does at this point. And we've got 2 different headphone outputs as well. On the back of the unit, we've got a lot of connectivity as well. So the cool thing is all 8 of the mic preamps are XLR jack combis. The only difference is I think 1 and 2 are the JFET ones, and these are just regular. 8 1/4-inch jack line outs, optical in and outs as well. We've got a word clock in and out, or word clock output there I should say as well if you're using that for whatever reason. And it runs off a standard IEC. It's also USB-C, which again is kind of the new standard for interfaces. A lot of them are running on USB-C now. USB-C I believe has a slightly faster transfer speed, so in theory this should work even better than what I've already got as well. But yeah, there it is, the EVO 16 from Audient. This is going to be featured in my home recording videos that are coming up on the channel very soon. So if you're considering getting into home recording yourself and there's anything you want to know, let me know down below in the comments and I will try and talk about it in those videos. I'd love to hear what kind of questions or challenges you guys have experienced while thinking about home recording. Let me see if I can help you with those questions. Throw them down below in the comments. If you've tried anything from the Audient range, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well, because I currently haven't tried anything that they've done. I'll be honest, I've not tried any of their equipment, but I've had it on very good recommendation from friends whose opinions I trust very highly. So I'm looking forward to getting this plugged in and really seeing what this can do for my workflow. So yeah, let me know any questions you have on home recording down below in the comments, and I will get those answered for you either in the comments or in my home recording videos. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and I'll see you guys very soon.